Hello, my name is Jack Mancusi, and the purpose of this video is to enlighten the citizens of Glen Cove as to just how Tim Tenke and the rest of his city council are running this city. They have never met a lawsuit that they didn't like. They are engaging in reckless spending, and they are also an enemy of small business. Please watch this video to see exactly what your city council is up to. During the March 23rd city council meeting, an agenda item came up where the city of Glen Cove is attempting to evict an 8-year tenant from a commercial city-owned property. That's Cove Sports Academy is the name of the small business. It's located on Cedar Swamp Road, and it runs a sports academy for children and young adults. It's been a successful business. The property has been well maintained. The business owners have invested money in the property, and the business owners have never missed a payment on their current lease. They have 2 years left on their lease, and it appears that somebody on the city council wanted somebody else to have that facility. So what they're doing, for all the trouble that a small business has in this day and age, including paying their rent through the COVID era, the city of Glen Cove is attempting to throw this business out on their ear and replace them with an untried and an untested new business. The way they went about it is actually pretty comical, and I am going to highlight some of the shenanigans that went on at the city council meeting. Let's take a look at the score sheet that the city council used to evaluate the suitability of new tenants to come into the building. Not that an 8-year successful business owner would be an excellent risk to put in a city building. No reason to believe that their business model isn't working. So they made up an arbitrary evaluation criteria. It's revenue generated, qualifications and experience, intended use of the leased space, and the last and most ridiculous one, local vendor preference. Without getting into the details of this, because I have no idea what any of them mean, many people questioned the city council about what this meant, and they were unable to answer. The local vendor preference, Next Level Sports, consultant number 3, which happens to be the business name of Cove Sports Academy, scored a 3. After having a business in Glen Cove for 8 years, they scored a 3. So when you hear Gately Stevenson try to explain the process, he was one of 3 people on the committee that tried to push this thing through and actually did. Listen to his voice and listen to how he describes it as being so hard. He's the one that made up the process. He's the one that scored the process. Why was it so hard? Was it hard because it was hard, or was it hard because you knew you were doing something wrong? It sounds to me like Gately got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. You be the judge.
We worked very hard to make sure that the process gave everybody the same opportunity and gave us the same basic level playing field for everyone. And it was a hard process, but we followed the protocols, and as tricky as that is, we worked to do the right thing as far as making sure we gave everybody the same opportunity, standardized it, and I can say all 3 of us worked to make sure that was the case.
You don't have to take my word for this. Listen to the words of Dom Gaddy himself. Dom Gaddy is one of the owners of Cove Sports Academy, and listen to him detail what the city has been putting him through. and judge for yourself if you think the city is doing the right thing. That's your city. These are your representatives. Do you think they're doing the right thing by a small business owner in Glen Cove? As you watch the video, this next segment, you'll get to meet a person maybe you never met before. His name is Greg Kalnitsky, and he is the city attorney. Some people will tell you that he's actually running the city, that Greg Kalnitsky is the de facto mayor of Glen Cove. Again, you watch the video and you judge for yourself. Does Kalnitsky speak for the city council? Why is the city council not answering these questions? After all, it was their process and their committee. You be the judge.
Not to mention, the bid that we submitted with escalations is more than the 9,000 that was accepted. So I need everyone to know that we were only offered 3 years, but yet I'm hearing people say that everyone was offered 5 years. I heard it from 3 different council members. It's just not true. So the other thing too is we've survived a COVID pandemic, and the only correspondence that we have gotten from the city during the pandemic is, when are you going to submit your rent? So we've been submitting rent during a pandemic. Finally, when I get back on my feet, here we go. Okay, let's throw it out there for bid, and let's give it to our friend. Let's give it to our cousin. People are recusing themselves, or people are abstaining because I know this person. Then people are not abstaining because why? I can't abstain because I know someone, but then the next guy abstains because he does know somebody. So you can understand how we're upset, and we have 2 years or left on the lease. And for the record, we intend to live that out peacefully as we're entitled to.
Listen to Kalnitsky try to cover up his administration's clerical negligence in not properly attending to the paperwork of the lease. Listen to him ignore hundreds of years of landlord-tenant case law precedent that protects a tenant that's renting a facility.
Mr. Gaddy, you don't have a signed lease. You never exercised an option to renew. There's no record of that. And you didn't pay the price in the renewal, okay? You would owe the city about $30,000, which we haven't been paid, okay? So don't sit here and tell me we've exercised these renewals when we have not exercised these renewals.
I'm not telling you.
And I will be in contact with your attorney tomorrow, and we'll try to work something out for you because you've been a very good tenant. But it's been month to month at the minimum from 2017, and I would venture to say that your entire arrangement is void and illegal because you didn't get city council approval. You were just let into a premises. So I'm sorry, Mr. Gaddy, but those are the facts.
It seems to me like Kalnitsky is using flawed legal arguments to intimidate and bully a tenant out of his rightfully rented space. Now listen to Kalnitsky cut off the person who's calling into City Hall, the resident of Glen Cove who's asking questions about this process. He not only cuts her off and is rude to her, he cuts off the mayor. So did the mayor stick up for himself? No. I guess Kalnitsky might be the mayor.
But they did the scoring.
Yeah, but they have no interest.
Once again, they don't have any financial conflict of interest. They have no interest in the business. They're trying to do what's best for the city.
But obviously there's been an issue tonight about this. And it seems to be because there are 3 council members that are the committee for this RFP. That's all I'm just trying to point out, is that everybody seems to, think that things aren't properly done and all that. So it's just
Maureen,
something to think about.
with the PBA contract.
Talking, Greg, please.
Why does the mayor put up with the rude, arrogant, and disrespectful antics of Greg Kalnitsky, the city attorney? He's obviously angling for another lawsuit. He doesn't believe that Cove Sports Academy should be in there. That's his opinion. But Cove Sports Academy has a very strong legal argument about why they should be in there and why they deserve to finish out the remaining 2 years on their lease agreement. So once again, the city of Glen Cove is going to incur a lawsuit and is going to spend your money to defend the ridiculous decisions that they make. It's time for a change. I'm going to end this video by giving you a preview of my next video. Once again, it features Kalnitsky and his combative attitude towards another citizen of the city who has filed a lawsuit against Glen Cove.
There's no attorney's fees in there.
Okay,
You better read it.
There is.
I know there is.
You can't get attorney's fees in an Article 78. It's not applicable.
Then tell your attorney to take it out.
Okay, I'm speaking, so please don't interrupt me. I do have a couple of minutes.